In today's tutorial video, I'm going to show you how to make 8 at a time HSTs, so that's half square triangles. My name is Kim of ExshawQuilts.com and I sell quilt patterns, so go check them out. Alright, so we've already drawn our line corner to corner, making an X on our block, and we have these pieced together, same size, different colors. And now we are going to sew on either side of both of these lines by a 1/4 inch. All right, so we are ready to cut our blocks. I'm going to take you back over to the cutting mat and get started. All right, because 8 at a time can be a little bit trickier to cut, I'm going to show you on the white side so you can see a little bit better. All right, so the first cut that we're going to make is in half and then another in half. And then lastly, we will cut in between our sewn marks. I find that that gets the most accurate results. So we're going to make sure that we are aligned at these points in the middle of our block here. And then align the edge of our block with one of the lines on our ruler. And just take your time. It looks really good. We're all in our lines there, and now we can make our first cut. And then we're going to turn it and make the other cut. And again, we're going to make sure that we are over those marks and within our lines there. Okay, and now we're ready to cut corner to corner. So if you have to arrange your blocks a little bit, just be really careful while you're cutting it, and then it keeps everything together and a whole lot easier. Because I flipped the block, you can't see that line that I drew, but your ruler would be right on that line, corner to corner, okay? Oops. I definitely need to change my rotary blade. And then our last cut here. There we go. Now we've got 4 blocks, and I'm going to show you how to square these up as well. Originally, this block was a 9 by 9. No, sorry, this is an 8 by 8. I'm sorry. So this is originally an 8 by 8, and we want to make a trimmed to 3.5 inches for each block. So I'm going to show you how to square these, or trim them up rather. All right, I wanted to show you this quick trick. So I've got a square here. You can use whatever square that you have. This is, I believe this is a 4.5 by 4.5 square, but we need these squared to 3.5 by 3.5. So I'm going to take some masking tape. If you're doing a lot of HSTs, this is such a lifesaver, especially if you quilt at night and you get tired. So right here on my square, the 3.5 mark is right here, and also right there. So we're going to put our tape just along there. It does have, here, I'm going to bring it up a little bit if I can. It does have these little tiny squares to align to the seam on your triangle, except that when you get tired, it's hard to see those. So I quilt a lot at night. So what I like to do is take my masking tape and put it along where I need it to be. So right there. You don't have to do this, but I do find it helpful, especially if you're doing a lot of HSTs and you don't want to have to think about it or look for those lines every time. It's easy, right? Okay, so we're looking at this seam, right? You do not want to square on the raw edge. You want to square on our stitched mark there. So we're going to line up that stitch line with right on the line of our masking tape. Hopefully that makes sense. And then our corner is facing this corner. So I'm gonna line it up like that, and then we're just gonna trim around it. And this I find that Then you, this way, cutting it this way, trimming this way, you get more accurate results for your HSTs, because the other option is cutting all 4 corners, which I find it's really annoying. So I like to square that way. And then what I do is I take my scissors, not these ones, pair of snips. These are my giant scissors. And just snip in and cut those dog ears off. Be careful not to cut your sew mark there. Then what I like to do, and this also makes aligning your HSTs together really, really easy for your block, I like to press the seam open, because then I can align that seam directly to the next HST, right? So then they you can see them. It's so nice, so much easier. Okay, so that is how you make your HSTs 8 at a time. Thank you so much. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more, and definitely go check out my quilt patterns. They're really beautiful, I promise. Well written, tech edited, all of the great things at exshawquilts.com. Until next time, bye now.